What happened to Operation Dragonslayer? This is a question I have also been asking myself, and today I want to talk about this topic. In addition, I want to look at where Bitcoin is going to go in the next few hours and days, because we are just shy of the $10,000 mark you see right here, and we could be headed past this incredibly important psychological level, since 10,000 is the first 5 digits number Bitcoin is going to reach probably soon. Some people think that we might correct before reaching the 10,000, but there are a lot of interesting points to talk about here. But first of all, what happened to Operation Dragonslayer? So what about the dragon? The dragon is still here. It has not been moving as much, and we should look at Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash. Last time we talked about Bitcoin Cash, it was somewhere down here, $1,400 to $1,500 mark. After my last video, I said it should be about to rise, and it actually had went up either here or here, I don't remember, but that's an interesting thing, because I hope you even if you bought it, you shouldn't have lost any money on it, because it went up, but then it didn't do anything too crazy. It stayed right around here, it consolidated, and just yesterday it broke out of this triangle. People thought it might be going towards $2,000, but it didn't. It came right back down and was some sort of false breakout or failed breakout. So Operation Dragonslayer was to happen on the 25th. The 25th is to be seen right here on the chart, and the 25th was the less spectacular day in Bitcoin Cash early history. As we can see, it has only went sideways on that day, and yesterday on the 26th it has made this false breakout, but nothing really happened. So what about Operation Dragonslayer? Did it get called off? Is it even a thing? Well, I think that they didn't even really try, because this is not worth mentioning. We've had the same rise right here. Bitcoin Cash right now is not a threat to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has had its difficulty adjustment down. It has not harmed Bitcoin, and things are pretty much the same, as we can look at fork.lol. It's the new incredible thing that happened here was that BTC had a difficulty of adjustment down, as we can see on this thing here, and despite the difficulty of adjustment down, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash are pretty much have the same level of profitability when it comes to mining. So this had no influence at all, and Bitcoin Cash has still not made its move yet, or probably even won't make a move. And if you're asking yourself why, I don't know. I guess nobody knows. So either Operation Dragonslayer wasn't really a thing and someone had been making this up, or Bitcoin Cash right now doesn't even stand a chance against the strength that Bitcoin has been showing during the last days and hours. If we look at the 4-hour chart, we have this incredible stairway to heaven. This stairway to heaven has just stopped a few hours ago when Bitcoin didn't go past the 9.8k mark. Luckily, I'd say, because the harder it rises, the harder it may fall eventually sometime. And we have seen so much strength that we need a little time to consolidate before going back up. But as you can see on the 1-hour chart, for example, we have this triangle formation, which could be seen as a so-called symmetrical triangle, also known as a continuation pattern, meaning that if Bitcoin breaks this triangle, which it is actually doing right now, it's about to break out, we might see another move up. Now, is this incredible growth sustainable? Depends on whether you are someone who wants to stay rational or not. But I would say, of course, it's not sustainable. After this sort of vertical growth, we always get a correction sometime. But are we going to get a correction soon? I don't know. And we might even be in for another big move. So some people think that Tether USDT, as you can find it here on CoinMarketCap right here, is being issued without anything to back it up. And as we can see, the supply keeps growing and growing and growing. And some people have this conspiracy theory, which is rather interesting to look at, without panicking, of course. And they say that every single time a big new batch of tethers get printed, so to say, that Bitcoin rises a lot. So let's say 10 million tethers get printed, Bitcoin rises in price by $500. And A lot of people have been talking about this recently. You probably know about it. If you don't know about it, now you know. And I don't know what to think of this, but it's an interesting idea. I wouldn't want to disregard completely. People say that Tether and the exchange known as Bitfinex are in this thing, and if we want to look at tethers being issued, we can check the Explorer right here, and it looks like this. As you can see, we're now at 725 million tethers out there. CoinMarketCap only shows 674 millions, and that's probably because it's not up to date yet. I remember looking at this one like 24 to 48 hours ago, and at that time we still were in the 600 million mark. We were about 680 million, so similar to this number, and we have now, in a matter of 1 to 2 days, risen to 725 million tethers. So we've basically seen another 50 million tethers get printed out of, some say, thin air, because the concept of tether is that people should be buying with their US dollar this tethered cryptocurrency, which is also worth $1, and that in theory people should be able to redeem their tokens if they wanted to. But as we can see on their website, they have been having a lot of problems when it comes to redeeming the tokens. And I don't know if the announcement is still here. Yes, Tether is currently expecting continued delays in processing international wires and from Tether to users, to and from the users, sorry. And this means that since they're sitting in Taiwan, right, says here, only people with bank accounts inside Taiwan are able to exchange their money directly with Tether. And this creates the situation where a lot of people ask themselves, so if no one internationally is able to buy tethers because they can't basically send their money to Taiwan, then who the hell is buying all those tethers that are getting issued, sometimes 30 to 50 millions at a time? So we have a weekend in which we've seen 50 million Tether tokens get printed, and people, of course, ask themselves, so this would mean that someone has bought $50 million of Tether. And if we look at Bitcoin price, a lot of people have been analyzing the rate at which tethers get printed, which is pretty much congruent to the rate at which Bitcoin has been rising. So people have some charts where they show in this period a certain amount of tethers got printed and Bitcoin went up X%. And right now we have a stop of this move right here, but yesterday we've seen around 50 million tethers printed. So if this theory was correct, we would be about to see a sharp increase in price, because those tethers usually get used, according to this theory, to buy Bitcoin and push the price up. So there would be someone with 50 million sitting here buying 1 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoins, 50, 100, 1,000 Bitcoins, with market orders causing the price to, basically go to the moon. And if you want to know more about this thing, you should be looking at certain Twitter accounts which talk about the Tether conspiracy. I'm not going to name anyone right here, but you are going to find it pretty easily if you look for it. And this much for this theory. So contrary to people thinking that 10,000 might be let's say the wall we are going to hit in the coming hours and days, some others think that since the Bitcoin market right now is heavily manipulated with this Tether thing, that we are probably going to see another incredible rise to above $10,000. And it's a harsh theory, but it might be true. There are a lot of interesting facts to look at before disregarding it. And when it comes to Bitcoin Cash, well, what can I say? If someone was actually planning an Operation Dragonslayer, they probably are not going to be able to crash Bitcoin if there is someone somewhere buying millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, because they have been, according to this theory, printing money out of thin air. Now, this thing becomes pretty much dangerous if people start to want to redeem all their Tether tokens at once. And they can't, because first of all, they can't process these international wires according to Tether themselves. And secondly, there is probably not enough money in the bank to back it up. So it would just like be your bank, which sometimes is even the case, giving out money in, let's say, electronic ways as wires, etc., and then having people want to get their physical money back, and they would have to say, sorry, we're bankrupt, pretty much. And this is the Tether problem, or conspiracy theory. So this is the story. You do what you want to do out of it. I like to inform people who might not know about this. And sure, for some speculators, this might be a huge opportunity, because they're going to say, well, if I know that there's a high chance of Bitcoin going above 10K because of so much new Tether getting printed, then I should just buy right now. And yeah, sure, that might be a strategy, but I don't know. It might also go the other way around. Maybe these people don't spend the money in Tether straight away, and Bitcoin dips to somewhere, and the Tether gets used to scoop it back up. I don't know. Who knows? In this market, it's pretty crazy, and that's all I have to say about Dragonslayer and Tether. So Bitcoin might be headed past 10K. We're going to see in the next hours or days. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.